Power. It is the ability to make something happen. Power resides in all to a certain degree, and each can use it either constructively or destructively. Good and evil, in other words. A balance between these two has existed since the beginning of time, and power is the thing that keeps that balance. Whether it's a conflict for one's own power within, a struggle for political power amongst kings, or a battle for true power between gods and demons, power is both the source and means of the fight. After staying overnight with the Gerudo in their fortress, Link retrieved Epona, and they traveled back through to Gerudo Valley to find the bridge repaired by the carpenter crew, looking like new. This allowed easy passage back through to Hyrule Plain, whose color looked especially bleak in the waning light of the afternoon. They trotted on through the wide open fields to the ruins of the city that was once Hyrule Castletown. Link dismounted Epona at the broken drawbridge so he could cross. In the scorched marketplace, there were no Stalfos to greet him. However, the masked bodies lying in a row had all reanimated into re-deads who wandered the plaza. Avoiding their petrifying gazes, Link made his way to the place from which he first emerged to find this disarray of destruction. The great oaken doors to the Temple of Time creaked open with the push of his hand, while his mind wondered who it was, according to Rauru, awaited him inside. The vast cathedral was empty. He stepped onto the six-sided slab centered on the checkered marble floor of the sanctuary, staring through the door of time at the pedestal of time, where this whole mess began. "I've been waiting for you, Link." Link spun around to see who entered behind him. It was Sheik. "Link, the hero of time, you've overcome so much to get this far, and I couldn't be prouder of you." Despite Sheik's cryptic behavior, Link did come to admire him, not just as an ally in his quest, but as a friend. With his knowledge of the six temples, he helped Link through his journey, Link's calling to awaken the new sages of the Sacred Realm. With their seal, they'll bind the evil and return the light of peace to the world, or so goes the legend passed down by the Sheikah. "Link, I have things to tell you. Please listen." At last, was it going to be information on the seventh sage, who apparently did not need to be awakened? "Another unknown legend of the Triforce passed down by the Shadow Folk," he began, "says the resting place of the sacred triangles, the sacred realm, is a mirror that reflects what is in the heart of one who enters it. One with a righteous heart will lead Hyrule to a golden age of prosperity." Link recalled the words of Princess Zelda when they first met in the courtyard. "But if someone with an evil mind has his wish granted, the world will be consumed by evil." "Precisely," Sheik responded. "This is true of the sacred realm itself. If an evil heart, the realm will become full of evil. If pure, the realm will become a paradise. This should come as no surprise to you, but what may is this. The three triangles, they represent balance, a balance that weighs the three forces: power, wisdom, and courage." One for each of the three golden goddesses, Link realized, remembering that Din was the goddess of power, Nehru the goddess of wisdom, and Furor the goddess of courage. She continued, "If the heart of the one who holds the sacred triangles has these forces in balance, that one will gain the true force to govern all." "What are you saying?" Link asked. "If that one's heart is not in balance, the Triforce will separate into its three parts: power, wisdom, and courage." Link thought of what this might mean. Only one part will remain for the one who touched the Triforce, the part representing the force that one most believes in. Link quickly met his eyes to the scarlet of Sheik's. Ganondorf's heart was clearly unbalanced, and he knew which of the three forces Ganondorf most believed in. 7 years ago, Ganondorf, the King of Thieves, used the door you opened in the Temple of Time and entered the Sacred Realm. But when he laid his hands on the Triforce, the legend came true. Link took solace in thinking that Ganondorf may have never had the full power of the Triforce. "That's good, right?" "Compared to the true force, yes," Sheik affirmed. "But the Triforce of Power remained with him. The strength of the Triforce of Power enabled him to become a mighty, evil king." Link's eyes welled up, as he knew this very well. But his dark ambitions were not satisfied. If the one seeks the true force, Sheik continued the legend, that one must acquire the two lost parts. Those two parts will be held within others chosen by destiny. they will bear the Triforce mark on the backs of their hands. Link, the Triforce separated into 3 parts. To gain complete mastery of the world, Ganondorf started looking for those chosen by destiny to hold the 2 other Triforce parts. Link was reeling at this new knowledge. Who holds them, then? Link, the hero, the one who holds the Triforce of Courage, is you. Link immediately looked at the back of his hands. Above the knuckles of his right hand, the incredible sight of the Triforce seemed to sear his hand with a hot white glow, though it was as gentle as a kiss. The bottom right triangle shone brighter against the other 2, emphasizing the Triforce piece that must have represented courage. He was speechless. Did the Triforce of Courage fall to him because of his destiny? The Triforce of Courage is not some piece of gold from an otherworldly artifact. It resides in you. Link suddenly felt something rush through him, like the power he had come to learn was was now fully realized. Do you know what this means, Link? She asked, looking concerned. In order for Ganondorf to obtain the Triforce piece he's after, which you now know is within you, he would need to kill me, Link put bluntly. He's had monsters and creatures wanting him dead for a while now, but this was the real deal. This could have been something Ganondorf's surrogate witch mother's sisters knew. Sheik looked at him, the worry still lingering in his ruby irises. Your final challenge. You'll need to face him in a showdown, the King of Evil. Are you prepared to put your life at risk for that? Link had always suspected this whole conflict would come to a head at the mercy of a battle with Ganondorf himself. It was a matter of confidence with the Master Sword, the sword that seals the darkness, the blade of evil's bane. But he told Sheik in this very temple, and it was still true. He was ready to put his life on the line. Good, Sheik said after Link nodded. When you were sealed away for 7 years, it was to mature you enough to fight him with the full realization of the hero's spirit. At that age, it is certain you would have fallen. What makes you so sure? Sheik put up his right hand in a fist, showing Link the back of it. The same white glow of 3 triangles, accented by one on the bottom left, cut through the pale skin above his knuckles. The other, who holds the Triforce of Wisdom, is the 7th sage, who is destined to be the leader of them all. Sheik immediately proceeded to throw a flashbang, causing Link to shield his eyes from the blinding light. When it subsided, he was nearly in tears once he saw who was there. Standing before him was a beautiful, young, blue-eyed Hylian lady, with golden blonde hair down her back, curls of it hanging down over her pointed ears. She wore an elegant purple and pink dress with golden ornamental shoulder plates. A royal banner hung down the front of her dress, boasting the crest of the royal family and the Hyrulean kingdom. Atop her forehead was a bejeweled circlet fit to crown a princess he recognized. Zelda? Link choked. With a million questions and emotions overwhelming him, flustering his mind, he simply bent his knee for the Hyrulean princess gracing his presence. As he looked at the red carpet that ran down the middle of the temple, he saw the furls of her dress come into the periphery of his vision. He felt her hands delicately lift him up by his arms. She had tears in her eyes too. She locked Link into an embrace that he in turn reciprocated. It felt so good to see her again. Link pulled away. You're not... I know, she said. I apologize for meeting you in disguise, but it was necessary to hide from the King of Evil. I passed myself off as a Sheikah and hoped that you would return. I waited for 7 years. Please forgive me. Link realized that was why Sheik kept avoiding Link's questions about Zelda. She faked her own death to hide from the man who wanted her dead for multiple reasons, one of which being on her hand. So, Sheik, is he some elaborate character you've made up in order to hide? Princess Zelda looked at her feet, a tear falling from her eye. This gave Link an epiphany. Sheik was real, wasn't he? Zelda wiped the tear from her cheek. Sheik really did live in the castle with Impa. He was a good friend, always there for me. But for Impa, I always came first. Link knew it was the duty of the Sheikah to serve the royal family like that. So, on that day, 7 years ago, when Ganondorf attacked Hyrule Castle, when I was fleeing the castle with my attendant, I took priority. I wanted to believe that he had survived. But Impa, she assumed the worst. But he did get out? Link asked, trying to follow the true story. He did. After we lost Ganondorf, we circled the plain and found him in what was left of the city. Impa was overfilled with joy. He was the one who died in your arms, wasn't he? Link finally concluded. Zelda put her hand to her chest and her chin to her shoulder, trying to fight back tears. It wasn't hard for me to learn the Sheikah magic that disguised me as him. Oh heavens, I've desecrated his memory, haven't I? No, Link reassured her. I'm just so happy you're alive. I thought you were dead.
She will be,
said a raspy voice in a baleful tone. Link recognized the voice as Ganondorf's, but where was it coming from? Zelda quickly yanked something out from behind the royal banner on the front of her dress. On the back of it, a secret pocket held a bundle of arrows. She shoved them into Link's hand and threw down a flashbang to disappear. Instead of vanishing, however, she was inside a pink diamond-shaped vessel.
He slowly chuckled. Those magic tricks won't work now.
Zelda pounded on the crystal-like encasement she was trapped in. Link pounded on it too. It was some sort of dark magic of Ganondorf's.
Princess Zelda,
he mocked from wherever he was.
You foolish traitor! I commend you for avoiding my pursuit for 7 long years, but you let your guard down. I knew you would appear if I let this kid wander about.
Link felt guilty now for seeing Zelda come out of hiding, just to be caught like this, all because she revealed herself to him.
My only mistake was to slightly underestimate this kid, he said about Link. No, it was not the kid's power I misjudged. It was the power of the Triforce of Courage. But with the Triforce of Wisdom that Zelda has, when I obtain these two, then I will become the true ruler of the world. If you want to rescue Zelda, come to my castle.
With that, she went into a strange trance, and the pink crystal began to rise up and fade into the lofty clear story of the Temple of Time.
No!
Link shouted after her.
I'll come find you!
It made sense that the holder of the Triforce of Wisdom did not need to be awakened as a sage, but she was taken for it, and Link was left with nothing but himself and Navi the fairy, and the arrows Zelda passed off to him. The tips were gilded in gold, with a tiny emblem of the Triforce etched on the side.
Those are the legendary sacred light arrows,
Navi realized.
A weapon that can penetrate the evil king's defenses, the power given to the chosen ones. The light imbued in these arrows will smite evil.
It was now clear to Link what he had to do with these.